Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. Rockstar is on the verge of saving Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League with their latest update on the one and only Mrs. Freeze, Victoria Freeze. They've come out and confirmed Victoria Freeze is a lesbian because reasons, because it matters in a single player with multiplayer online co-op ongoing games as a service. Because do you even really care in stuff like this, in a game like this where it's multiplayer? What is this fascination? If you were going this into a role-playing game where, I don't know, relationships actually mean something in the game, having relationships with your party members and whether or not which way they're gonna swing for you, baby, those things might matter. But in a game like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, what is the actual relevance of any, well, what's the actual relevance of the game up till now? Because nobody's playing it. But now Rocksteady has pretty much double, tripled, quadrupled down on the nonsense, the irrelevant information. I have a few other things about who they decided to put in there as Mrs. Freeze. I got my opinions. I think, let's get into it. Let's go check out, let's see, John F. Trent has to say over on That Park Place. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League developer Rocksteady revealed new details about their upcoming character, Mrs. Freeze. Specifically that she's a lesbian. Ooh, how innovative, how groundbreaking, how cookie cutter nonsense every other female character nowadays in mainstream video games just likes to go muff diving. Yep, I said it, ladies and gentlemen. In a blog post, Rocksteady detailed that, quote, Victoria Freeze is an ice-cold, self-sufficient survivalist who has watched her Elseworld turn to ice as Brainiac's invasion took hold. The developer continues, by the time we meet her in Season 2, all 150 of you that are still playing, oh no, let me be fair, it broke 300 recently. She has spent years as the last holdout of her dying planet because she's just strong and powerful. The last holdout? Really? You had to go that far in it where she's the only one still alive, still holding out against Brainiac? Couldn't have had her partnering up with anybody? Maybe? Perhaps? I don't know. Make it more believable? She's the last of a few holdouts? Anyway. Unwilling to leave her cryogenically frozen wife behind. They could have done so much better. Maybe just, I'm going to get into it. But after being recruited by the squad, she may have the chance to save her and unleash icy hell. So, wait a minute. She's recruited by the Suicide Squad, Task Force, whatever the hell Amanda Waller calls it. Does she bring her wife over to the new world, or does she leave her behind? Because that's gonna, I mean, say what you want, but that's kind of that's going to be a very important part. If you add her cryogenically frozen wife, yes, I do know English, ladies and gentlemen. I prove it every week. If the only reason she's holding out, the only reason she's still fighting is to save her wife, then why would she leave her wife in that world behind? The story and how they progress with it is going to be very important, and of course, with it based on the story beats of the game itself, we know how wonderful writers they are and all that stuff. Let's keep going. Next, Rocksteady detailed Miss Freeze is bringing some much-needed expertise to the squad in the form of her freeze tech. The primary way she utilizes her inventions is through her traversal. She's going to be running around like Iceman. That's what she's doing. Is that in the comic books? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below. Not the chat, the comment section. Which incorporates a combination of ice cool control. Everybody chill. Super smooth sliding that makes for a fast-paced, dynamic, and totally unique traversal kit. Except you ripped it off from Iceman from the X-Men comics. Anyway, from there, it detailed the various abilities she has. Miss Freeze... primary traversal, you already said that. They repeated it. Are they repeating themselves? Ice path. Whether used in the air or on the ground, this gives her the ability. This gives her complete freedom. I do know how to read. It's right there in front of me. Complete freedom of movement. She can quickly slide around behind enemies, shields, to flank, dash straight into the fray, or even launch herself directly skywards, perfect for getting the drop on her targets. Are we just going to go into background, yada, yada, yada? Where's the end of the quote? All these abilities work together for a fluid, exciting style traversal that's easy to pick up but hard to master. Jeez, okay, don't say that. Don't say that. This is Miss Freeze. This is the character art for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League by Rocksteady. This is the character you're going to be playing. Something that I've talked about a few times is having thematic, aesthetically pleasing characters. This, in my opinion, fails miserably. Okie dokie. Furthermore, Rocksteady revealed that Miss Freeze froze her entire world. Oh, so she's the reason why her world is in peril. The world you discover is the result. Oh, so you're going to travel to her world. Now that, if it weren't in this game, that would sound interesting, but, you know. The world you'll discover is the result of the final act of sabotage by Miss Freeze. Once she realized the fight against Brainiac on her home world was unwinnable, she hatched a plan to destroy the Coluan terraformers, sending the entire planet into an ice age. So they did a little bit more work on her backstory than they did any of the male characters in the game. I said what I said. Oh, let's see. Moving on. Oh, dear, oh, dear. This update is unlikely to attract any players. You got that right. To the game, and is more than likely to drive people away. Oh boy, here we go. All right, let's get into this, ladies and gentlemen. I disagree with this statement. More than likely to drive people away, as it fully embraces and promotes a disordered lifestyle. Unless this game is sitting there smashing you in the face, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay, and you should be too. No, it's not going to. It's a backstory. It's her reason for fighting. It's a reason for her continuing on. And personally, I think they would have done better if they would have picked Nora Freeze. Switch things around. You're already going with an Elseworld story. So you're not going to go with Victor. Oh, by the way, Victoria Freeze in the comic books, if you had taken 5 seconds to look it up on Google, which is what I did, because I don't follow too many comics nowadays outside of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but moving on. You would know that Victoria Freeze is the daughter of Victor and Nora. Now, not too bad. I wish I could find, let's see, did you bring up the picture? Nope. Let's see, let me go all the way down. There is no picture. Victoria Freeze in the comic books looks a hell of a lot better than this. She's actually attractive. Her color scheme is, of course, the blue and the white and the darker colors, the more icebound colors that you see from Batman the Animated Series with Victor Freeze. Victoria Freeze is their daughter. They should have gone with Nora. Switch things around, and instead of having Victor Freeze as the scientist, the smarty smarts, you have Victoria Freeze. You have, not Victoria, Nora. Use Nora Freeze with Victor being the one that's sick, that's dying, and Nora is trying to save him. That's established characters that people understand, people know. Sure, you're swapping their roles, but maybe, just maybe, perhaps it would have been a little bit more acceptable than what everyone is going to see as ideological nonsense. There's, like, what is the actual reason for announcing Victoria Freeze's sexuality? And sure, it's said in passing. Now, the fact that it's said in passing in her backstory is why I don't think this will have an effect on whether or not people want to play it. I 100% believe that the hideous nature of what the character looks like is going to have more of an effect on whether or not people will be interested in picking up the character outside of, the terrible gameplay loop of the game, the uninteresting story, and the disrespect that they gave when they killed off the main characters of the Justice League. Could have done it just a little bit better. Where was I? Update is unlikely. The game is already seemingly on its last legs, less than a year after its release, and that is glaringly obvious. Even after the Prime Day giveaway from Amazon Prime. If you had a subscription to Amazon Prime, you got the game for free. And yet still people just don't give a rat's ass about playing this game. It looks like somewhere around March, what is this? between March 25th and April 8th, there was a little bump. That was probably the Joker Season 1 that came out and then just plummeted right away. Now, you can make the argument that, well, it's primarily a single-player game. Nope. It is, they marketed this, they're trying for a multiplayer co-op game in order to get that sustained revenue coming in, because everybody wants that sustained revenue, instead of, I don't know, maybe focusing on a fun, make it fun first, video game. An enjoyable single-player campaign. Focus on that first. Make it fun first. The game's most recent 24-hour peak of concurrent players only hit 314. This 13,500 almost, they'll never see that again. The game performed so poorly that Warner Brothers Discovery, the parent company, had to take a $200 million impairment charge on the game. My goodness. Goes into more information about the work, the money, how much it cost them, what it contributed to. But my goodness. Why can't we have just gotten a fun game with a more enjoyable story and perhaps worked a little bit more on the boss fights? People saw the game, saw how clunky it was, how unfinished it looked, and walked away. They waited for people to buy the game and play the game and stream it themselves to see what was in store. Word of mouth could have done so much for this game, but it failed. Well, it did the exact opposite. It made people close their wallets back up and be thankful that they did not buy this game. Good old Mr. Freeze, Miss Freeze here, Victoria Freeze, and her lovely frozen wife that she is trying to save froze her own planet. Owned, I guess, Elseworld? Isn't going to do anything to bring people into the game. I don't think it's going to drive people further and further away, but it's definitely not going to bring more people in. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. This game is destined to lose more and more money, because you need online servers for the multiplayer. So, a continued loss for Rocksteady. How long before this game is 100% free to play and they just give up on their seasonal content? We'll have to wait and see, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those 50 little things that YouTube is begging you to do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.